Welcome to Storytime at the Roobus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Sharla.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Brooklyn.
Welcome to Lineup Week, everyone. It's been a wild day on Lineup Release Day on this January the 9th. How's everybody feeling about it?
Good. How are you feeling, Daniel?
Oh, man, we got a lot to talk about. What about you, Brooke?
I'm all right.
All right. Thank you, Matthew McConaughey.
You're right. You're right.
So, Brooklyn, what number out of 10 would you give this lineup?
When I first looked at it, I would have given it a 4 out of 10, which is the lowest I've ever. And I'm kind of embarrassed about that now because now looking at it, I give it about a 7.3. It is a solid lineup. The undercards are incredible.
It grows on you, man. What do you think, Sharla?
So I would say an 8.6 out of 3.
I love how specific you guys are getting with this.
This is math.
I would say about the same range. This morning when I looked at it, I would say 8, but it's getting closer to a 9 the more that I dig into this wonderful undercard. And that's kind of a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this really super packed episode. We have almost 2 hours worth of stuff. So I know that sounds like a lot, but I want everybody to do me a solid. If you look in the episode notes, you're going to see timestamps that I've put in there. That's going to let you know about everything that we have in this episode. So Sharla and Brooklyn and I have this intro for you. We're going to tell you about some stuff. But after that, we have our initial reactions from a group that we put together first thing this morning, right as it dropped. It's a lot of fun to listen to. We also talked with Bonnaroovian of the Year last year, Pondo, about the code, a very important part of Bonnaroo that we all want you to learn about. And he is a super positive guy to learn about it from. We also have a very good friend of ours, Wanda, in the Wanda band. We're campaigning for her to get one of these additional spots at Bonnaroo. She actually played for us last year out at the Group Plaza.
She did.
She's wonderful, and we've actually been given a song from her to play on the episode.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that. Also, at the end, we're going to have a lot from a larger panel that we had tonight after we had half a day to let this lineup settle in. So it's a jam-packed episode. We have a ton to talk with you about. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, since this is the big episode of the year, why don't we kind of introduce ourselves a little bit?
If you are a new Bonnaroovian just now listening to this podcast, we are the crew of the Real Roobus. It is a big blue school bus. It actually used to be a jail bus, but it's a big blue school bus that goes to Bonnaroo every year. It's actually been to Bonnaroo since 2011. It was previously owned by Tammy and Bob of Manchester, Tennessee. We actually purchased the bus after we parked next to Tammy and Bob back in 2017. And Brooklyn actually made friends with them. She brought them a pie over, if I'm remembering.
Oh, yeah.
correctly.
What kind of pie was that, Brooklyn?
Banana pudding cheesecake.
Ooh, sounds
Coming
so
in
good.
clutch.
And so I added Tammy on Facebook, and they put the bus up on eBay. They were retiring, moving to the beach, and long story short, it now sits at the side of our house. And we still continue the tradition of taking it to Bonnaroo every year. And the one thing that makes this bus a little different than most schoolies is you can actually sign this bus. You can put your signature on it.
Yes, please come see us. It's parked at the Group Plaza. And every year, it's become an annual tradition for everybody to come sign it, put a little picture on it, get your picture taken with it because it has a ton of different Bonnaroo things. Come and see us. If we're around, we'll show you on the inside, too. It's basically a Bonnaroo museum inside of there. But we do want to let you know we're starting to transition from that. So we're getting a little older. We're ready for the next generation to take the party on. So we are transitioning to a new 501c3 nonprofit that we have started over the past couple of months. It's called Totem. Sharla, do you want to tell them about it?
Sure. Well, Totem is us handing off the Bonnaroo inspiration to the next generation, essentially.
Yeah. So it stands for the opportunity to experience music. And we want to make sure that a lot of the Bonnaroo traditions are passed on to the next generation. Stuff like High Five Friday, the Dr. John song, all kind of fun things. What's the other song, Brooklyn? Give us a little bar of it.
Wait, what?
The Oh Baby You.
Got what I need?
Yeah, that one. That's an example.
And they say he's just a friend?
Yes, exactly. That's a perfect example of what we want to pass on to the next generation. So with Totem, we have three main focuses. First, we want to do a mentorship program. So if you are someone that is coming to Bonnaroo for your first time, we want you to sign up for this. It will match you with a mentor, someone who has been to a lot of Bonnaroos, who can give you advice on what to do, what not to do, all kind of fun stuff like that. We're also doing a scholarship program. So if you are someone who is thinking about coming to your first Bonnaroo, who maybe is in a financially disadvantaged, situation, we've put together this scholarship program. We're giving 2 away this year. So you go to our website, it is at totemfnd.org, and there's a forum on there where you can answer a number of questions and write a bit of an essay. And here in just a few months, we're going to give away 2 scholarships. And in a few years, we're also going to do an international exchange program, but we're a few years away from that. So we'll talk about that in the future. But again, you can learn about all of that at totemfnd.org. And if you're a veteran, we would like for you to sign up as a mentor. And hey, we're a nonprofit, so we're always taking donations. You can find out about that on the website as well, right?
Yes,
Sharla?
totemfnd.org. And even if you've already bought your ticket, tell a friend to apply for our scholarship. I mean, just share the word about Totem. It's the most important thing that you can do to help us out.
Yeah, thank you, Sharla. One other thing that I wanted to tell you about, this is a very special episode. So normally we have a little bit of a music transition in between segments, but this time we're doing something special. A lot of Bonnaroovians have sent us their memories and their stories. This is called Storytime at the Roobus, so we wanted to kind of like ring true to that title this week. So you're going to hear a lot of stories from Bonnaroovians about some of their favorite memories. Brooklyn, do you want to kick us off? What's one of your favorites?
One of my favorites is so I kind of gained the name Tahine Queen. So I made a Tahine totem and I had little mini bottles of Tahine. So I was walking through Centeroo and somebody was like, "No way, Tajin. I love Tajin." And I was like, "Would you like some Tajin?" And they're like, "No way, you have some Tajin on you?" And I was like, "First of all, you have to say it right." And I made them say it right. And then I gave them a little bottle of Tahine and their reaction was priceless. They like got down on knees and they were super excited, which brought me a lot of joy.
I've never heard this.
Yeah,
story.
I don't think I had either.
Oh yeah, this is like when I was wandering around by myself.
The Tajin.
Tajin, yeah.
Sorry.
A lot of people think it's Tajin, and a lot of people are like, "What's Tajin?" Like, where is your flavor?
Brooklyn, I also love that you made your story totem related to keep it on point for us.
Yeah, had to.
See, I say things wrong all the time because I read it and I don't hear people say it.
Perfect way to kick us off, Brooklyn. Well, without further ado, I think we should get into all of the fun stuff for this episode. First up, you're going to hear our initial reactions right as the lineup dropped at 10 a.m. farm time this morning.
It's live on the website.
It's live.
Yes,
it's
live.
Oh my
God.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Main stage.
Okay.
Quick before it crashes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Melanie Martelli.
Headliner. Oh my
Main
god.
stage? Oh my god.
Baby queen. Baby queen.
Oh my
Thunder
god. Ray, Megan.
Melanie Martinez.
Easy girl.
Brittany
Yes.
Howard.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Brittany Howard. On
Yes.
Sunday.
Harley
We're throwing
Race.
out on Sunday.
The main. What?
Oh,
Can
I'm
you
so
go for
happy.
it? Oh my
Okay.
god, Sunday is
Oh my
fucking
god, Neil Francis
stacked.
beat
Holy shit.
Oh, Armin.
Carly
Hammer.
Rae.
Three
so
lights headlining the main
excited.
stage.
Chloe,
Yeah.
Josiah, and the Bonnevilles.
That's a big
The
What?
Dashboard Confessional Super
Oh, we
Jam.
got Big X.
Oh, God,
Chapel
play this
Ronan
guy.
confirmed
Oh my
Chapel!
god.
All right,
on
everyone.
Saturday.
Well, as you can hear, we are looking at the lineup in real time. It is 10 a.m. Central on January the 9th. We've got
Oh my God.
20 people here. We're all freaking out because I think there are a number of names that we didn't expect. So happy lineup day, everyone. How are you doing?
Catch me running away, Glennis.
So good.
You mean to tell me Pretty Lights is going?
Oh, I know.
Big and true.
Martinez. Oh, I know.
That was so good.
All right, everyone.
Loved
So we
it.
have a lot of our Camp Rubus from last year, a lot of our Discord friends here to share our initial reaction to this in real time. So we're going to go first to the man who loves Bonnaroo so much, he changed his last name to it. It's Evan Bonnaroo from New York. What do you think, Evan?
What's up, everyone? Happy lineup day. I am still processing. It looks like we got a lot of stuff that we expected. And then there's always a bunch of surprises. The first thing that everyone didn't react to, I think, was there's emo Super Jam up top on the left.
Missed that.
Oh,
Bachelor Confessional Emo Super Jam.
Yeah,
That's what I'm most freaking out about.
T-Pain is going to be awesome after what he's just released. A lot of rumors confirmed. I'll pass it on to someone else now.
All right, next up on our list. You always see these two together. It's Skylar.
Hey, holy shit, this is so good. Oh my God. Yeah, there's a few names that I was kind of hoping for, but not expecting after that leak the other day. Thundercat, I'm really excited about. Oh my God. Brittany Howard is going to be incredible. Megan Thee Stallion. Sunday is stacked. This is obscene. Carly Rae Jepsen. Oh, it's going to be crazy. Ash Nico is going to be so good. We're going to be throwing ass all day on Sunday. So I just hope everybody is ready for that.
mm-hmm.
I'm still digging into this. This is insane. All right, Ryan, you're up next. What do you think?
I'm very excited. Megan Thee Stallion on Sunday. Can't wait to throw ass at sundown. But the Main on Saturday, they're like an emo band. They put out one of my favorite albums last year, so I'm very, very excited about them and did not expect to get them at all. And then Pretty Lights headlining the main stage on Thursday, I think is huge. But
Huge. All right, thank you, Ryan. String Bean in our Discord. Reveal yourself. What do you think?
My real name's Cam, but I'm from Kentucky/Indiana. I go back and forth. Yeah, there's so much. I'm still digging through just like you are. My first things, at least that I saw, was the Dashboard Super Jam. Maybe I'll get hate for it, but Elder Emos, we are very happy for that. Fisher's going to be great. It's Murph is really kind of a new-ish person on the scene, quote unquote, that I'll be excited to see. Oliver Heldens will be really good. That'll be a crazy set. If you haven't seen anything, Brooklyn Mirage was really good that they posted. Same thing, T-Pain, Sudden Death will be really good for me. Thundercat will be amazing. But yeah, I'm still trying to get through everything, but I saw Fortet on Sunday and I'm already happy with Fortet and Freddie on the same day. I just hope there's no conflicts. But good Lord, yeah, this is good. This is Knock 2. Oh God, I'm trying to quickly go through. White Fang will be good. Yeah, Goth Babe. I only get to see them because I saw them in 22 for a minute and I need to go back and see them. But yeah, this is crazy.
All right, thank you. Maddie from Atlanta, you're up next. What do you think?
Hey man, I'm loving it. They are covering my two needs by keeping it funky and keeping it weird. Lots of great little things on here, stuff up and down the lineup. Thundercat's been mentioned. Parcels, I'm excited about. Love Idols. They're going to be outstanding live. They always are. Cigarettes After Sex. And then, Jason Isbell, Carly Rae, Sunday's stacked, as a lot of people have said. I'm all about it right now. Just all about the whole undercard.
Same, dude. All right. Our new Hunt's villain, Ashley, is here. What are you thinking?
Yes, I'm really excited. The emo Super Jam is going to be amazing. I'm excited to see John Baptiste on here. That's going to be an amazing Saturday set. I hope that's a sunset set. I'm excited for Cage the Elephant, of course. I'm really surprised and excited for Galantis and Milky Chance on Sunday. I don't know how I'm going to function on Sunday. I don't know why they had to stack the last day like they did. It's going to be awesome.
That is your reminder to pace yourself.
Yes.
Next up on our Discord, it is Talk Roo Much.
Hey, so I'm really excited for Idols. I've been waiting for them to be at Bonnaroo for like years. Super excited. They're great live every year. Really cool to see the Mars Volta on there. I hope they get like a tent set at night. I think that would be really a good vibe for them. And Khruangbin, they've been like bucket list for me. Really sad, you know, like you said earlier, every lineup's going to get compared to 2020. But that was one of my biggest things from 2020 that I was missing out on was Khruangbin. And I think Dominic Fike, he's like a up and comer. Super excited to see him. I love his song with Weezer. It's great.
Yeah, you're right that we still compare it to 2020. I suspect that we're going to talk about that elsewhere in the episode. But yeah, good picks. Next, we have Caleb.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? So yeah, looking through the lineup, Sunday is absolutely stacked. I meant Joey Badass, Ash Nico, Fortet, The Garden, Arm & Hammer, Yves Tumor. I am blown away that we got Arm & Hammer. Great two like duo. They just kill it. Military Gun on Thursday. That's crazy too. One of the best punk albums of 2023. Yeah, I'm super stoked on this.
Yeah, you're right. The more I dig, the crazier it gets. Next, we have the Queen. Chloe is here.
You're too cute. My heart is still like beating out of my chest. I can't do this. I've been screaming for Chapel Roan and Josiah and the Bonnevilles for like months, and like my time is now. I'm so excited. Sunday is absolutely stacked. Any cardio or working out I do between now and Bonnaroo is exclusively so I'm not a husk of myself come Sunday, because I have to be in good form for that day. But oh my God, Ashnico, I totally missed that. T-Pain, anyone who missed his set when he was there in like, what was that, 2018, 2017, you missed out. He's so fun. You have to go to his set this year.
Good calls. We've got to get a lot of running in between now and June so we can get our cardio up. Good thinking, Chloe. All right, next up we have Chris. Go for
Happy lineup day, everybody. I'm just looking over everything now. Oh my gosh, it's stacked this year. My most excited that I'm most excited for would be Khruangbin. Super stoked to see them. Joe Russo's Almost Dead's gonna be super fun. Love them. Can't believe we got T-Pain and Brittany Howard. That's going to be absolutely beautiful. Just looking at every day, I have to agree with everyone. Sunday's just absolutely stacked. I mean, we've got Fred again, Jason Isabel, Joey Badass, Goth Babe is going to be really fun. Loved them in, what was it, 20? Oh, was that 22?
2 years
I think
ago,
it was.
Yeah.
It was the first year back. But yeah, super happy with it, super excited. Ready to get weird with all of you on the farm. Happy Roo!
Happy Roo, my man. Good call on Goth Babe. I have fallen in love with that band the past few years. Next up, we have a new friend to the Discord, Irene, and I'm laughing because of the twerking gift that she used. Irene, go for it.
That is all of my personalities throwing ass all day Sunday long. One thing I want to point out that nobody else has mentioned is we got both Neil Francis's, which is such a Bonnaroo thing to do because it's going to be so confusing to people, and I'm really here for that because I love both acts. The whole Saturday.
They should put one on this and one on that and have them play at the same time.
I know.
Just
They're
to really
different
lean
days.
into
I
it.
wish it was the same day. That would be so fun. The whole line of Parcels, Idols, Brittany Howard, Sean Paul, Ethel Kane, like Saturday looks nuts to me. I'm really excited for that. And I'm really excited with the direction they're taking on Sunday, making it so stacked and having these like heavy hitters to make Sunday a lot of fun instead of more like a cool down. I know some of us were questioning that choice with the headliner, but I think it's going to be a ton of fun and we're going to be happy they did it this way.
Yeah, Irene, I'm still digging into this, and like this is like one of those Where's Waldo things. I'm still seeing names like Mdu Mokhtar. Finally,
I don't know what the Neil Francis Comes Alive means. I don't know if that's a Bonnaroo thing that I should be familiar with.
Can anyone explain that one to us? I'm not sure about that either.
I don't know his act as well as the
guessing it's based on Frampton Comes Alive.
Charles
that
Howard
would be the one that makes sense to me. So who knows?
No way. Okay, we got to do some research on that.
Yeah, we got to research it, but that would make sense just based upon the pun name.
So it's like a theme.
Wait, did you say Frampton? Does that mean Peter Frampton's coming? All right.
Or maybe Frampton covers, something like that. You know, that is one of the most famous live records ever. So
Okay.
It looks like Francis Comes Alive is a double album that he recorded live to tape in Chicago a couple of years ago. So probably just that.
Oh, it's just a take on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, they made it into a concert film too.
Still amazing. All right. I think we have one more that called dibs. Our good friend and one of the smartest music guys I know, Andrew from Atlanta.
Hey, y'all. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty good lineup. I think there will be some controversy about Fred again, but he's honestly the headliner I'm probably most excited to see. But I think it shows like how stacked the mid card is when like these two more is like all the way down at the bottom of Sunday. So excited to see these two more. Excited to see Krungbin. Excited to see Pretty Lights. Excited to see Neil Francis. Apparently, there's two Neil Francises that are different people on this lineup.
We're trying to.
Excited to see, like Thundercat. I just think this is a very stacked mid card, and it's gonna be tough to beat that in terms of other lineups throughout the country this year. Even if it's probably not quite on 2020's level. So I hate to make that comparison, but I still think it's a really great lineup. So yeah.
So Andrew, for us psych people, what are your top picks? You think?
It's got to be Krungbin. And Needs Two More is also great. I would say that, by psych rock standards, that's probably my one slight plate with it. But compared to last year, it's still an improvement. So I don't want to be too negative on it because I still think this is probably the best lineup they've had in a while. So
Thundercat's going to be hot too. I've been wanting to see him for years.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey everybody, Daniel and Sharla back here with you for just a moment. We mentioned earlier at the beginning of the podcast about our new Totem Foundation. Well, one way that we fund that is through a Patreon for this podcast. It's at patreon.com/Roobus, and 100% of the proceeds go to the Totem Foundation. Sharla and I don't keep a cent. It helps fund the scholarships for our applicants and a lot of the other stuff that we need as part of this actual 501c3 nonprofit. Right, Sharla?
Yes, all the proceeds go to Totem. So if you sign up, you'll be supporting scholarships for underserved individuals to attend music festivals.
So we want to list all of our Patreons that have been supporting us. Sharla, you want to go for it?
Sure, okay. Andrea, JB, Samuel, Austin, Madeline, James, Chelsea, aka Hygiene Queen, Ryan, Chris, Skylar, Dan, Ernst, Bill, Harris, Keith, Casey, Chloe, Dave, Amanda, Aaron, Nick, Maddie, McFerg, Kent, Randy, Greg, Eric and Ben, Evan, Jay, Chloe, and Sean.
Thanks so much to our Patreons. Again, if you want to support what we're doing with the Totem Foundation, you can go to patreon.com/Roobus. All right. So open mic. Do we have anyone else that wants to pipe in on the lineup?
Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
Okay, so the festival mentioned like a really big throwback for the Super Jam, which is an emo super band with Dashboard Confessional, but Taking Back Sunday is also on the lineup. And T-Pain's last album was under the covers, doing all covers. So I wonder if T-Pain's going to show up to the Super Jam.
Good thinking. It's possible.
Because he did like Aerosmith and like some like heavy metal stuff. So I think that would be really fun and kind of like left field, but also like very perfect.
So guys, remind me, is this a fever dream or not? But the last time that T-Pain was there, I want to say he did like karaoke with T-Pain.
Yes, he did.
Barnes.
So yeah, that seems on brand for him, I suppose. Yeah, good call.
Okay, yeah. As Andrew was saying, and then Irene pointed out, Neil Francis is on Saturday, and then Neal Francis Comes Alive is on Thursday. So it's two different people.
Right, yeah, which is very confusing.
Yeah, I concur with the idea that they should play at the same time just to screw with them.
We also have Mike with a period and just Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Oh.
You know that guy, Mike.
Everybody knows Mike.
Yeah.
He camps with us.
I got him on the lineup. Yeah. Good job, Mike.
So
All
with
right.
Fredigan and Fortet both on Sunday, do we think there's a chance that Skrillex will show up?
Oh boy.
Oh, please.
I'm just going to toss
would
that out there because
recreate
I have a
that
hopeful
Bonnaroo
heart.
poster so hard if that's the truth.
So we
I
will
mean,
talk
what's-
about this more elsewhere, but all right, we got one of our wishes by getting Pretty Lights on the main stage. Can we also get Fred again and whoever else in the round in the what field? I would love that so much. I just want complete anarchy with him in the middle of all of us.
Oh yeah.
I really
Yeah, that
just
would be
hope they take that
delicious.
mix and just
We shall see. Well, guys, anyone else have anything before we sign off? This was our initial reactions. I think we have to take the day to dig into it and listen to some stuff on Spotify and YouTube and everything. But are we feeling pretty good about this so far?
I'm feeling
yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Extremely excited. Happy Bonnaroo.
Happy
Happy
Roo.
best life in a while for
Roo.
sure.
Happy Roo.
Happy Roo.
Happy Roo! All right. Thank you, guys. See you there in 6 months.
6 months. Oh.
Hello, Roovians, and happy lineup week. My name is Tay, and a favorite memory I have is when I found some guy with a piano keyboard tattoo on his shoulder, and I pointed it out to him and complimented him, and he said, "Play me something." And so me and his entire group just took turns playing on his piano keyboard tattoo. It was great.
Hey y'all, I'm Harris. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. My favorite Roo memory is definitely a recent one. It's got to be the Chasing the Golden Hour grid set from last year. I could live in that entire hour for the rest of my life and be happy. Happy Roo, y'all.
Hi, my name's Evan, and the Roo memory that comes to mind for me is my first show ever in 2012 when Moon Taxi covered Killing in the Name, and hearing that first chord, and I turned to my friend Fuzz, and somehow I knew my life was changed forever.
I'm Irene from New York, and my favorite Bonnaroo memory is the moment I understood that I could carry this feeling with me forever.
Hi, this is Brooklyn, and my favorite Bonnaroo memory is getting to pass out mimosas to the crowd at the front of the stage during the Secret Cherub set last year.
This is Chelsea. My favorite Bonnaroo memory is coming to Roo 2022 solo and realizing I can do anything.
Hi, my name's Chris.
And my name's Shy.
Our favorite Bonnaroo memory came last year, Bonnaroo 2023. We got married on the Roo bus, surrounded by the best people this planet has to offer. Happy Roo!
Happy Roo!
Hey, all of you Roovians, it's your boy Rufus here again. Hope you enjoy and love this lineup as much as the elves enjoyed putting it together for you. So this is going to be a Bonnaroo for the book, so rest up, be prepared, play as a team. Don't be that guy or gal. Do your homework with new bands and radiate some positivity for your boys. See you on the farm in June.
Everybody, I am thrilled that we have last year's Roovian of the Year, Pondo himself, on. What's going on tonight, my man?
Nothing much. Just sitting around watching football and talking to some of the greatest individuals on the face of the earth, the people from the Roo bus, and then that just makes the day even 3 times better than it should be.
Well, you make us feel loved, but this is all about you tonight, my dude. First off, before we get into all the code stuff, how's your fantasy football team doing?
Barring a meltdown of epic proportions, if Buffalo scores like 200 points and James Cook gets like maybe 10 touchdowns, that's about the only way that I would lose. So it looks like I'm going to win the League of Extraordinary Roovians football league, and so looks like I'm going to be your champion. Yay!
You are the champion in 2 different categories of Roovians.
I don't know about all that. I appreciate that. I will say one thing. Getting Roovian of the Year was an extremely wonderful honor. I have never had thousands of people chanting for Pondo before. That is a first. usually they're chanting with pitchforks to get out of town. So this is, this actually was was really, you guys surprised me. I wasn't expecting it. And I got to say that, usually I can pick up on stuff like that, but I was quite humbled and felt very fortunate to win that, because there's a lot of wonderful people who devote time and effort to our pretty much what is our favorite festival, Bonnaroo, and the fact that that I was chosen, I can't really say anything other than that, just to say that it indeed was an honor. I do have it hanging up in my bedroom on my wall. I make sure anytime somebody comes over, they see it. It's like, hey, check it out. Look at that right there. Oh, wow. And so, so that's pretty cool. But we have a festival to talk about. This year's 2024, Bonnaroo experience is coming up pretty soon. And there's some stuff that people need to know, right?
Yeah, so you and I are time traveling a little bit. We're recording this on Sunday night, so we don't fully know the lineup just yet. We will know in the rest of the episode that everybody will be hearing. But we wanted to talk about something very important, and it seemed like the Roovian of the year should be the person to talk about this. So I wish that the Bonnaroo PR team would talk about this a little bit more, but I feel that something very important to Bonnaroo is the code, and you felt like the right person to talk to us about this.
The Bonnaroovian code is something I try to live by, not just the time when I'm on the farm. It's something that if you take and use it in your everyday life, I promise you things will appear better, seem better, and you might have a better disposition and outlook on life. And most people know I've been going since 2008, and I try to incorporate a lot of the values that the Bonnaroovian code provides in my everyday life. And there's times where when I do fail, but for the most part, if you stick to the code, you'll be doing pretty good. It's pretty good advice just for life in general. So
yeah, I agree. The story that I've heard is some of the OG Bonnaroo organizers went to Burning Man and they kind of adopted the 10 principles out there, but they whittled it down to 5 for Bonnaroo. And why don't you tell us each of them?
Okay. The first one, the one that I think I like the best, is prepare thyself. And again, you can use this in everyday life. When you go into Bonnaroo or you go into any situation, make sure that you're prepared. Tennessee can get very, very hot. First timers, when you think, oh my God, it's going to be blazing hot. Yes, but at night it can also get cold. Tennessee weather in the summer is very unpredictable. You can have rain, you can have wind. You're more than likely going to have massive heat. What I tell everybody, what I do personally for Bonnaroo is I usually start around March or April, trying to get myself into, quote, Bonnaroo shape. If anybody's ever seen me, they know I'm definitely not a fitness guru at all. I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and tell you to do, 5,000 squats or something like that, but be prepared for the farm. Take rain gear, because if you don't, it will rain. It's like one of those things that anything can happen if you're not prepared for it. But be prepared for several days camping on a farm in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's 700 acres. They do have like a general store, but don't be afraid to take things that are going to help you more or less. I guess would say, to me, if you're prepared, that's one of the best things. If you plan ahead, you're gonna be off to a great start. The second thing that they always.
Oh, I was going to say, I would agree with you that you never know what's going to happen, because we've had freak pop-up storms. You're probably going to be in a situation where you have to walk far further than you expect. I don't know about you, but I get up in like the tens of thousands of steps when I check my little watch doohickey.
Right. I even get to camp. I get to camp and access, so my walking isn't as far. But I think last year I still ended up walking. I think the entire time I was there, I ended up walking over 25 miles.
Oh gosh,
which
I'm not surprised at all.
Which doesn't sound like a lot over the course, because I was there since Wednesday. But man, you figure that out, considering I'm in a close proximity to the main stages and stuff. It's still quite a bit. So be prepared. If you prepare yourself, you can't go wrong. Number 2, the second one is play as a team. And this one is one that's I find is good in twofold. One, if you go with a group, make sure that your group, knows to kind of look out for each other. But also, don't be afraid to make friends with your neighbors, because they're going to be your neighbors for the next couple of days. And look out for somebody. If you see somebody that needs help, don't be afraid to get them help. If you see somebody that needs some water and you have some, offer them some. If you work with everybody, then everybody else can, I swear, karma, good stuff will come back to you. If you do good things will come back in return. I actually camped next to somebody in 2009, and in 2017, I ran into them and they remembered me. Now, yes, I know I wear Viking horns and a clock, for those of you who know.
You're pretty memorable.
But they remembered my name, my real name, which is Brian. They remembered the town that I was from in Henderson, Kentucky. So I thought either A, they were secretly stalking me, or B, because I had been such good campmates that they remembered that. And you can make some amazing friends at Bonnaroo if you're willing to play as a team. Really quickly, a good friend of mine named Josh Plasko, we met at Death Grips. We met for about 15 minutes, and that was it. And that's the only time I've ever seen him at Bonnaroo. And we are still friends to this day. We chat on a regular basis. And a matter of fact, I chatted with him earlier today. He has a wrestling podcast that I listen to now. And all of this from a brief chance encounter at a show at Bonnaroo. So, play as a team, watch out for each other. And I think that's pretty important. What do you think about that? What do you think about playing as a team, Daniel?
Well, you hit the nail on the head pretty well there, especially your story about meeting somebody at a show. Like, there's a lot of people that remain in our orbit, like, year round. But then there's still a few that I see once a year for 5 minutes, and I still remember them well because we're all a big team. And I feel like there's different tiers of teams. You have the team that's in your campsite, tier at your neighbors, and then just the tier that you see once a year, every year. And I'll give you a quick story too. Somebody was on our team once that we didn't even know. Sharla lost her wallet that had her driver's license, debit card, stuff like that, and somebody turned it in to Lost and Found. That's just the whole community playing as a team. They were like, oh, this isn't mine. I need to turn this in.
That is amazing. Could you imagine being like that? Of course not. But good karma. I tell everybody, karma and Bonnaroo to me go hand in hand. If you bring forth a good, positive vibe and you look out for others, others will look out for you. Another example of that is last year, I dropped $5. I was coming off a vendor. They gave me some change. I went to put it in my pocket. I dropped $5. Not one, not two, but 5 people at the same time pretty much were like, hey, you dropped $5. And I was like, wow. That was just so awesome. It made me realize that I was in a place that's magical. Number 3 is one that pretty much everybody knows. It is their mantra, so to speak. It's radiate positivity. There's been a couple of times whenever people have been at Bonnaroo and you got to wait in line for something or some, or maybe it's really, really hot. But if you stay positive, other people around you will be positive too. Bonnaroo is doing its best. They put on an amazing thing. And yes, there's sometimes where not everything goes smooth as we'd like. But if you radiate that positivity, if you think, man, just stay in the moment. Hey, I'm at the most magical place and I'm having a great time and I'm around the great friends and I'm listening to good music. If you're willing to radiate positivity, it will become infectious. Other people around you will catch on to that and latch on to that. That is something that I do try to, incorporate in my everyday life too. There's past couple of years haven't been the greatest for Pondo, but I keep going, I keep trying. And the past couple of years that I've been to Bonnaroo, most people know that I lost my mom, and there were so many people that come up to me and said, on what used to be Twitter, now X, I read your stories about your mom, and I lost my parent, and it was like I was right there with you. And then I had a real bad experience with COVID and nearly died. And there were people who were like, I went through that too. And it was like we were connected. And so many people wanted to give me a hug or something because we could share experiences, and we came out better for it because of the positivity.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, out of all these things, if you have to pick a favorite, this is the one to pick, because this is the thing that gives Bonnaroo its soul. Everybody has a positive attitude. Everybody you meet is instantly your best friend. And it's kind of a lesson for life too. Kindness will bring you kindness. If you come up to anybody and have a positive attitude, it's going to be a better outcome. What's the next one there, Pondo?
Respect the farm. And this one is for one that goes under the radar a little bit, but quick shout out to the people who work the festival. There's some called the trash talkers. There's like a Roo crew that help keep the festival looking good. There's 700 acres. There's, in the tens of thousands of people, between 60 to 80,000 people there. So it could literally become really, really bad. For the most part, they do a pretty good job of keeping it clean. We can too. There are like receptacles for like recycle, compost, and trash all throughout. And this past year, they did a real good thing of getting these cups, these orange cups. I think they were called flip cups or something like that, where you could put them in a recycling thing. And they do such a good job of respecting the land, respecting, we're on their territory. We basically invade Coffee County for, several days, and they're just as much a part of it as we are. And, we come in there. If you visit a place outside of Bonnaroo and Coffee County, be good to it, be nice to it. Respect where you're at, because it's yours just as much as it is anybody else. Don't throw something on the ground. Throw it away. I feel like that when you respect the farm respects you back. I consider that sacred ground. To me, that's like a holy land. When I walk on the farm, for 359, 58 days, I'm Brian. But then for, 6-7 days, I get to fully immerse myself in Pondo. So I definitely respect that place.
And also there's a huge crew of people, some that only work the farm just for 2 or 3 weeks a year, that work to put the place back into the shape that it was to begin with. So whatever we do saves them a heck of a lot of work too. So, and also that's something that goes for the rest of life as well. You want to respect the earth in the same way that you respect the farm. So I feel like that one's a super important one as well. What's up next?
Right. Don't be that person. And this is one that, oh my gosh, I usually don't see it there. But, and it can, you're there to have a good time. Everybody's there to have. Don't be the person that's going to ruin somebody's good time. I'm going to give you a couple examples of this. First one that is one of my pet peeves. Let's say me, you, and Sharla have decided your favorite band is Tame Impala, so I'm going to use Tame Impala.
Yeah.
Let's say we have been patiently for 2 hours for Tame Impala. We're up near the rail. We're ready to go. And you get this guy or girl that show up 10 minutes before the show, and they totally decide that they deserve to be up front on that rail. And they're pushing people and shoving people and going up. Don't be that person. If you want to get to a set early, get to a set early. Don't be somebody that's going to end up pushing and moving people left and right. to me that that's kind of a negative thing. Don't put yourself in danger. Go slow. It is a marathon, not a sprint. You don't know how many times I've heard people say, well, I'm going to do this, and this. And I'm like, take time, go slow. Because if you sit there and try to see everything you can possibly see in that first day, you're going to burn. And then you're going to be miserable, and you might even bring people around you down. Just the one thing is be nice to fellow Bonnaroovians. If there's a line for the bathroom, don't cut in line. Just wait. If there's a line for drinks or something, wait in line. Be courteous. I've actually let people go in front of me before. For the most part, there's not a lot of that at Bonnaroo, but just don't be that person. Don't be that negative, the old term is negative Nancy. Don't be that. Don't bring everybody else down. We're all there to have a good time. Everybody, from the people who have paid for a ticket to the volunteers to the crew, everybody's there to have a good time. Everybody's there to put on a good show and enjoy the show. Just remember that. If something goes wrong, go with the flow. Don't harp on it. And just, again, trying to be a positive person, in my opinion.
And I will say that the people who are that guy or that gal is probably 1% or less of the full population there. It's just kind of a reminder to us all to don't be the 1% that you're going to run into every once in a while,
The last one is stay true to Roo. And the thing about it is the Bonnaroovian code can be used in your everyday life. There is something I want to true to Roo, and we actually talked about this the other day. A lot of people at Bonnaroo have a tendency to do drugs, or maybe I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm not going to endorse you that you should do drugs, but at the same point in time, I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not your parents. I'm not your guardian. But if you see somebody that has done too much partying, they have an staff there that basically you can take that person or yourself into the medical tent. They're not there to bust you. Cops aren't waiting to handcuffs. They want to get you better. They want to get you well. When you go in there, if your friend has done too much of a certain type of drug or drank too much, tell them, say, hey, my friend did too much of this. And that way they can give them proper medical care. They don't care while you're in what the reason why you're in there. They just want to get you well. And I think that's one of the things that I really love about Bonnaroo, because, there are some people who, I wish it wasn't so, but there are some people who are going to party too hard, that are going to do things. And the fact that they can go to medical without repercussion, without fear of getting in trouble and get treated, I think that's an amazing thing. Because to sit there and say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. We live in a society where, it's gonna happen, but they have it set up where we want you to have a good time and we're willing to help you out. And to me, that's a thing of staying true to Roo. Don't be afraid to take the lessons that you learn from the farm out with you into everyday society.
Absolutely.
Something you brought up a while ago. We do see some people just for a short time. And I'll bring up you and your wife. When I saw you guys last year, I was tickled pink. We don't necessarily stay in contact the whole year. That's probably more my fault, and I do apologize about that. But I love listening to your podcast. I love listening to what you guys represent. I've sang your praises for a year, but seeing you guys on the farm, to me, is just as important as seeing one of my favorite bands. And this is what Bonnaroo. You will run into people that you will meet, and that there's a good possibility you're going to see them again on the farm. So when I'm strolling down and I see that big, beautiful blue bus, I know the people associated with it are fantastic, wonderful people. It gives you a feeling in your tummy like when you eat oatmeal. It's good all day. And that right there is an amazing feeling.
Oh,
And
that's so sweet of you. You know, I always joke with everybody like, hey, when you're putting in your request to be off, just say it's for a family reunion. It's not a lie.
that is correct. That is correct. And I have met so many amazing people through Bonnaroo over the years. I mean, I'm not going to list everybody because then your show would end up being like 10 hours long. But to stay true to Roo is one thing that, you're a Bonnaroovian all year, not just those years, not that just that time you're on the farm. You represent yourself as well as Bonnaroo everywhere you go. And when you put forth a positive attitude, you radiate positivity, you're nice and kind to people, and that good karma, it comes back to you. Like I've said before, two of the nicest people I've ever met are Daniel and Sharla Horton. They give back. And I'm not just saying it because you're here, but they give back. They do more stuff for people than I could even remotely list. And then I realized, my God, I can do stuff too. And then, I go out and I do stuff to help people. And then somebody else says, it spreads like wildfire because people say, well, maybe I don't have the money to do that stuff. It isn't always about money either. There are things you can do to help others that don't take a dime. A smile is free. A hug is free. An ear to listen is free. Don't be afraid to be out there for people. And I've learned a lot of that since 2008 because of Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo has made me a better person. The person that I was in 2007 before Bonnaroo is not nearly as wonderful of a person as I am heading into 2024. And a lot of that is because of Bonnaroo.
Well, Pondo, I think you just showed beyond question why it was pretty much unanimous amongst everyone that we talked with last year why you should be Roovian of the year. All the positivity you just talked about, but also something that I really admire you while we're blowing smoke at each other. You talked about how you've taken some knocks the past couple of years, but you have still continued to be one of the most positive, loving, joyful people that I have known my entire life. And I feel like that's something that people should strive to be too, is to just keep that kind of attitude going, even if life gives you some knocks. And dude, you got all of my respect I could possibly give you for that.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Henry Rollins said it best. He said, people say when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. He said, no, I don't look at it. He said, I like lemons. Give me all the lemons you want. Keep giving me lemons. I'll add sugar to it. I'll eat lemons all day. So that's kind of the way it is. Yeah, you can get down. And yeah, I do. I do get down. I'm not going to sit here and tell you times are tough. Times are hard. But, bad times won't always be there. But good people will.
Hey, man.
And if you're a good person, you can keep on coming. That's what I tell everybody.
When life gives you those lemons, we're just going to make that Panera Charge lemonade, dude.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Add some Four Loko to it, and we will achieve the fifth Loco.
And then we become Loco. I do have one last thing to say to tell everybody. I do wear the Viking horns in the clock while I'm on the farm. For those of you that know me, please make sure and come by and say hello. I've had a couple of people that have come up on Twitter or various places. Well, I saw you, but don't be afraid to say hi. If you don't know what to say, hey, you're Pondo. And don't worry. I talk enough for both of us.
I can vouch. He would love to see you.
And the other thing that I want to definitely mention is if you get a chance to go see the Roo bus and sign the bus, it's an event. It's absolutely amazing. I'm not going to continue to sing praises, but I'm going to tell you that the Roo bus is something that that everybody should look forward to. People like that is why I keep coming to Bonnaroo. And one final thing. Just a piece of advice I tell everybody. Guar is playing this year, apparently on Thursday, according to Festival Al. If you get a chance to see Guar, by all means, go see Guar. Because even if you don't like heavy metal, the show they're going to put on is going to be absolutely bonkers. And I plan on being there, so that's a place you can definitely
Hey, man.
probably meet me.
As long as it's not during that pretty light show, I'm there with you, dude.
I got you.
Well, Pondo, thank you so much for spending time with us. It's always a joy to have you around, and I can't wait to see you in person again here in just 6 months.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I feel honored and privileged every time I get to talk to you guys, and every time that I'm associated with the Rubus. I tell everybody, Rubus is doing good things, more good things than we could probably even list. Excuse me, and in the end, the goodness that comes out from the Rubus goes all over that farm. And you'd be surprised how many people have told me, "Oh my gosh, I got to see the Rubus, and it was so cool." And I said, "You're damn straight it's cool, because it's part of it's part of the landscape. It's part of the fabric that is the farm now." And for those of you who may be on the fence about going, maybe you're listening to this podcast, the one thing I will tell you is this: Bonnaroo changed my life, and it changed it for the better. You may know very few acts going into that when you go. Don't be afraid to do some research, because chances are your next favorite act is on that list somewhere, or somebody you're going to listen to for years to come. So take the plunge.
Heck yeah. Post-sign. Bond, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again soon, my man. We love you.
Hey, I'm Jasper, and one of my favorite Bonnaroo memories was on the last day of 2018. I was on the rail for Alt J, and the killers started as soon as Alt J finished. As the crowd migrated from which to what, we could hear Mr. Brightside being played, and we all sang it together as we walked over. It was really magical.
Hey, this is Maddie Chap from Atlanta. My room memory that comes to mind immediately is from my first Bonnaroo in 2009 and getting to see the final Beastie Boys show ever. Happy Bonnaroo!
This is Cam from Indiana, and my favorite room memory was my first one in 2022 when I hung out with people I had just met from 7 p.m. to 4:30 a.m.
My name is Caleb, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. My favorite Roo memory was from this past Roo on Friday night when my partner and all my friends were able to see Diesel all together, and it was an amazing experience.
Hello all, Eric from Huntsville here. And what is my favorite Bonnaroo memory? I have so many, it's hard to pick one. 2013, Paul McCartney. I watched him next to a guy from England who flew there for the show. That was pretty amazing. I once saw a one-legged hacky sack player. But my favorite memory has to be 2015, Florence and the Machine, her show. I got to experience it with my husband Ben, his first Bonnaroo. She put on quite the performance, moved us to tears. She literally jumped off the stage, sprained her ankle, jumped back up, performed like a champ. And so her performance and being there with Ben for his first Roo is my favorite memory. And I can't wait to see you back on the farm, everybody. Love you. Peace.
Hey everyone, we're back with a really cool friend of ours. Some of you, I believe, may have seen her in the campgrounds with her band last year. It's Wanda from the Wanda Band.
Hey everybody, what's up?
I am so glad to have you on for this big episode. What have you been up to lately?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And second of all, I've been up to a lot of things. I just released my second album with the Wanda Band this past year, and just got back from a tour around Alabama with some songwriting friends. And I'm about to go out on tour with another band, doing some administrative stuff for them. So I've been just gearing up for a lot of travel and tying up other stuff in my own life.
I'm so happy that you've been so busy because I know in the music business, that's a good thing. And listen, we have been in your corner like as much as we can. I'm so happy that you got to play that campground set last year. How did that go on your end? We all saw the big crowd under that tent in the group area, but how was it for you and the band?
I mean, that whole experience was incredible for us from start to finish. First of all, thank you for the opportunity and for busting your butt to get that done for us and
Well, thank you
support
for
us.
playing.
But yeah, it was so much fun. It was so trippy because like I just feel like I, I don't know, like I've gone to Bonnaroo like exclusively in a volunteer aspect, and so like playing Bonnaroo and like seeing my bandmates there and we're like all in our jumpsuits. It was just so surreal to like hike across the freaking field and see the Rubus and then just see my bandmate sitting on his truck waiting for me in his jumpsuit. I was just like, oh my God, we've made it. You know what I mean? It was an amazing feeling. And being that I was volunteering with Headcount, you know, the entire Headcount crew came to see us. And then, of course, people from Huntsville who heard about it came in early. And I was shocked at the amount of people who showed up to our set anyway because it was on a Wednesday in the afternoon. And I was just like, I don't know. It was very surreal for me personally because it just kind of felt like a dream come true, literally.
I was so thrilled to see that many there to see you. You mentioned something also that we should touch on. You've been volunteering with Headcount for a while now, haven't you? Because I saw you down at Oki doing it with them as well.
hmm Yeah, I've been to Bonnaroo twice with Headcount, Halloween, Okeechobee. Um, I don't think I've been to any other. I was supposed to go to Lollapalooza with them and Hangout Fest, but I think I had like my own band conflicts to where I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I would really like, I'm not the kind of person who loves crowds or loud noises. And so I don't, which is really weird because I'm a musician. And hopefully you would want your career to lead you to loud noises and crowds. But anyway, I more so enjoy being on the stage. But when it comes to like being at a music festival, I definitely enjoy being like a part of the festival, not as a festival goer, but as like a volunteer who like helps make the festival a fun vibe for the festival goers, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I think that working with Headcount has, brought me to this whole new world that I would have never, myself. I don't think that I would buy a ticket to a festival and go. That's just not really like what I would want to do just because I'm very like a sit at home kind of a person. Like I don't really even go to shows that much just because it's a lot. I don't know. I just get overstimulated at shows and crowds and talking to so many people. But volunteering for some reason, it's a whole different thing. And I don't know, somehow I find the energy to like work with the community at the festival. And it's fun because, I only went 2 years in a row. I went last year and the year before. And the second year had made so many friends that I saw the previous year and ran into them again. And it was like no time had passed. It was just like, I don't know. It's just so cool. The Bonnaroo like uh, community that you find and the people that you go to the festival with. It's such a beautiful thing.
Trust us, we understand. I think it's safe to say you're one of us now.
Oh, yeah. So tell us a little bit of what Headcount does.
Headcount is a nonprofit that, promotes civic engagement at concerts and music festivals. And I guess kind of the whole shtick is that it's like, okay, if we want to make the world a better place through democracy, then we should get people who love music and art to vote. You know what I mean? And we should make it easy and bring it right to them instead of, a lot of people get really intimidated by the voting process, and they think like, oh, if I don't know enough, if I'm not an informed enough voter, then why should I vote? And they kind of like take away their own rights. And I think that what Headcount does is it kind of meets you where you are. And when you're in a good place too, because everyone's happy to be at a festival or a concert. And I don't know, you just kind of encourage people that like you can vote, your vote does matter, and they have so many resources. Like you can look up your ballot on headcount.org like before you go into the polls, and they'll have like a bio of all the politicians and like, layman's terms for like if you're voting yes or no on like a policy and you have no idea what it's saying. Like there's all sorts of things that Headcount does, and I've always really cared about, voting, and I work the polls when I'm at home, like on voting days. I just yesterday I got, hey, hold these dates. These are election days. We need you at the polls this year. So it's just something I care about, and the fact that you can like pair music and democracy together, I just think is like really freaking cool. And you get to go to the concert, so I mean, it's a win-win.
Good deal, yeah. Thank you so much for doing that, by the way. I remember when I came to see you at Okie and visited with you, you're like, you're registered, right? Like that was kind of what you were doing that day. That's so much important work. You were talking about
Yeah.
it being a nonprofit. So one reason that we had you on is because, of course, you're wonderful. You agreed to be on our board of directors for our new Totem nonprofit that's helping send young underprivileged people to festivals. And one reason, aside from you being an amazing musician, that I wanted you to be on our board was because you've done a lot with music education. Could you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've, in the past I've done a little bit of private lessons here and there, mostly children, in guitar and voice. But I also work with the Microwave Dave Music Education Foundation, which is here in Huntsville. And basically what they do is they have this program called Concerts in the Classrooms, and they'll pay musicians like myself and others to um, basically go into a school and set up and play a concert for the kids and tie it in a little bit to, different school subjects like science or math or English or whatever, history even. And you just kind of make it educational, and sometimes I'll go to the Boys and Girls Clubs with them too. It's not just like schools, but it's other programs like that. And just kind of bring music to the kids. And something that I love about it is that, there's always like one or two kids in the classroom who I think come out of that experience changed. Like they might want to get a guitar, or they might want to start writing songs, or they might start singing. And that's just like the really cool thing about it. And then the other cool thing about it is just being able to play for kids. But the little things like that, like maybe impacting one or two kids along the way, is really special to me.
I totally understand because, like, in my day job, part of my job is amusing and bewildering kids about science stuff. So I totally understand where you're coming from about helping them learn like that. So, Wanda, I had a question from Chloe. I think you may have briefly met her last year at Rue, and this kind of leads into what we're going to talk about today. She wants to know what song you're most proud of on the newest album and why. And also, second part to that, I understand you've got a song that we're going to play on the podcast. Could you tell us about each of those?
Yeah, I think that well, I think that there's one song that answers both of those questions. I wanted to share with you guys the song Only Feeling, and that's also the title track of our album.
We thought
And
that one.
That's my
you
favorite.
what now? Is
We
that your
thought-
favorite?
Yeah, Brooklyn's here. She said that's her favorite.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm so glad. That's probably the one that I'm most proud of on that album. It's just it was one of those things where I was in like I think I wrote that song like during COVID, and it was one of those things where, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I was like living with that former partner, and it was like, overnight the relationship is over and all their things are gone kind of a thing, and it's like nothing really happened. It's just things don't work out sometimes, and it's like I had been thinking about like how lonely everybody must feel because it was during COVID, and it's like I just felt like I wasn't alone in my loneliness in a way, you know what I mean? And I don't know, when I was writing the song, I was just thinking about all of those things and thinking about how loneliness is kind of just like this human condition. It's not really like it's something that affects literally everybody, no matter if they seem like they have it all or not. And you can be with somebody and still feel lonely even. And it's like there's really not even a lot of things that can like quote unquote cure it, just because it's just a reality that we live in. And I think that that song kind of explores like loneliness and finds the beauty and the triumph in it. You know what I mean? And the like the understanding that it's okay, and that loneliness kind of can become a catalyst to like finding ourselves, or like finding some truth, or finding some happiness. It's the thing that keeps us searching. You know what I mean?
This is
Oh no, I didn't mean to get so philosophical on you guys.
no, that's totally cool. I mean, that's why we had you here. I mean, Wanda, seriously though, that is part of what fuels you as a songwriter. Like you're in touch with those kind of things. So like you can communicate those kind of things well over song. And I feel like that's one thing that has drawn a lot of people to you. So yeah, heck yeah, don't be ashamed of that. That's your power.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I think that you're right in that that's what people like about it, because I don't know, I've just been recently talking to a friend about this, and it's like, what are your, I think I was talking to you about this yesterday. It's like, what are you going to be doing? And it's like, this year, I'm just kind of going to focus on, the why. And it's like, for the last 2 years, 4 years actually, since I started the Wanda band, it's like, I mean, hell, we put out 2 albums in 4 years. That's busting ass. Okay. Like, that is very fast. And I'm like, it's okay to like not be working on album number 3 right now in like the most active way possible. Like, I don't have to schedule like rehearsal dates and like a recording session. I can like, maybe I haven't even written album number 3. Maybe I need to like get back to the reason that I do this. Like, I didn't pick up a guitar to make money and become famous. I picked up a guitar to cure this thing inside of me that is like the thing that we all have, and it's like almost incurable, so you just keep playing the guitar because it feels good. It's like, I do this because it fuels my soul, and it's like, I really want to get back to that, because that's why people come to listen anyway. People aren't like waiting for the next Wanda Band record because they're like, why hasn't Wanda written a freaking song? They're thinking like, that will come when it needs to come. It's not like a rush. And so I'm the only person who's rushing myself. And I want to just, focus on the music and my own life for a little bit.
Well, Wanda, we are totally in your corner, no matter what you decide to do. We fully support you, taking your time with whatever you need. But also, I'm going to be honest, we are totally in your corner and fully support you, because we're trying to bust our ass to get you on a Bonnaroo lineup one of these days. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I think we're going to jump into Only Feeling.
Please.
All right. Thank you again, Wanda. We love you so much.
Thank you guys for everything. I love you guys so much.
We love you.
There's a rocky mountain high enough for me, I think. Yeah, the darkest of the nights are just another blink. I know it gets better. She only left because I let her. They're in open season, you could hear those beck and calls. There's no other reason you leave nothing at all. I know it's not healthy, but it's nice of you to help me. Yourself, I had to learn just like me. I'm not lost or found, I'm stuck in my reality. There's no opposite of lonely. It's a feeling that's the only. It's the feeling that's the only. 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 Feeling that's the only feeling.
Hi, I'm Sharla. My favorite Bonnaroo memory is in 2013. I actually got into a fight with my husband because I wanted to go to the beach and he wanted to go to a dirty, stinky hippie music festival. I started crying. I was by myself. I was just so lonely. Didn't have anywhere to go. I sat down by a tree inside Center Roo and I was just had my head down. Someone offered me their hand, just a kind stranger offered me their hand, asked me if I was okay, and just pulled me up. And at that point, I knew that I was going to go to Bonnaroo every year until Bonnaroo no longer existed for the rest of my life. And that was it.
Happy lineup night, everyone. We're recording this at about 8 p.m. on lineup day, and we've got a great panel here. Everybody has had, half a day to let it settle in to see what we think. When you see it in the first few moments is one thing, but after you've really dug into everything is another. So we've got a good handful of people here. Charlotte's here with me
I'm here.
with her two dogs. Tell us the dogs' names.
Oh, the dogs are Baby and Truman.
We can introduce pets as we go,
I guess
too.
so.
Yeah. And, of course, one of our OGs, Brooklin, is here over Zoom.
Hello.
All right. And what's your pets' names?
Oh shit! I almost said my name. Cornbread and Sukana.
Oh, we love them both, especially Cornelius Bread Loafington.
Yes.
All right. From the great Iron City of Birmingham, Alabama, who is that?
It's Kevin Barnes. What's up?
What's up, dude? And what's that big cat's name?
Bella. Bellatrix is her full name. And then we have Draco, the German Shepherd, beside me, chilling, laying on the ground.
Oh, give them our regards. Next up, from the ATL, who is that?
This is Andrew. I see Andrew K on Discord and Reddit. I don't have a cat though, so you'll have to allow for that. So.
Get with the program, my man.
I don't know, maybe next year.
Gotta get you a cat. All right. Next up, from the great state of Massachusetts, is Zach.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I got my cat here, Griffin, and our dog here, Lady. Little golden doodle.
Zach, I called you in at the last minute, and there is a very specific reason why, and I think we all know why. We're going to talk about that a lot here in just a little bit. And lastly, but not least, you heard that laugh just a moment ago. If you've been to the Red Ruby Beer Exchange, you've heard her. Who is that?
Carrie Jackson, the beer czar.
So happy to have you here. Wait, introduce the pets.
And let's see, if you're going to make me pets too, I might be. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to make me name all the pets, Kevin, Todd, Ron, Baby Kitty, Katie, Jake, Sophie, and Lady.
Oh, full house there.
I'm done.
So happy to see you all. All right. Thanks for joining on, everybody. So, like I said, we've had.
And, I'm drinking a first anniversary ale from Hailstorm right now, by the way. Yeah. So.
Oh gosh.
As the beer czar, I figured I should announce it. You continue now.
Thank you, man. All right. We have had about 10 hours to let this lineup sink in. So I think we're each going to take about 5 minutes. Just tell everybody what you think and give us some of your top picks. And you know what? We'll go ladies first tonight. Carrie, we were talking with you last. What are you drinking there? And then tell us what you think about the lineup.
I have the first anniversary ale from Hailstorm. It is a sour golden ale with blackberries, raspberries, and boysenberries.
Yum.
And lineup, my initial thoughts in the lineup, I tend to be all of my like non-Bonnaroo friends say, "Oh my God, your taste in music, you've got to have great taste in music. You know all the bands." I'm like, I don't actually know any of the artists. I don't know anything about music. I know that I have a whole bunch of friends who know a whole bunch about music, and I know who to listen to. But my initial thoughts on the lineup, I wasn't terribly thrilled with exception of Pretty Lights, of course, because I would never deny Zach that. The headliners, I've never heard of Fred Again, and that's just probably my own ignorance. Everyone's telling me Fred Again's going to be amazing, and I'm going to believe them. Post Malone and Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was like, they were both on the lineup fairly recently, and I feel like from a headliner perspective, there's other like really big names that I haven't seen at Bonnaroo, and I've been going the past 10 years, or the past like 8 Bonnaroos now or so. And I'm like, oh, well, I remember seeing Post Malone and Red Hot Chili Peppers not that long ago. So that's a little bit disappointing to me. I do like that they're doing a Thursday night headliner. I know Andrew and I got into an argument one time because I was like, there's the headliners and then there's the Thursday night headliners. And he's like, there's no Thursday headliner. Well, now there is a Thursday headliner. The rest of it, it's I haven't heard of a ton of the undercard. I do really like I'm not a big hip hop person, but Joey Badass is on there, and I really like there's a Glass Animals song with Joey Badass that I'm a big fan of, and I feel like he's gonna end up being really good. Let's see, Two Friends, if I'm not mixing up Two Friends with this other band that I keep mixing up. Two Friends, I believe, is the mashup like Girl Talk.
Yeah.
If I'm not
Yeah,
I mix up Two Friends and 2 Feet for some in my head. So this is actually Two Friends. I thought I was going to see Two Friends last year at Electric Forest, and I didn't. It was 2 Feet, completely different band. But so I'm excited to see Two Friends. And Melanie Martinez is really good, actually. And she's on the second line for Saturday. And I saw her at like a random little street festival in Chicago, and she was absolutely fantastic. Aside from that, there's a lot of stuff on here that I see on the Riot Fest lineup. On a fairly regular basis, Guar, Interpol, so there's some really, it's a reasonable mix. So I'll give them that for sure. That's kind of my initial take. I like, the Sunrise set is going to be awesome. I always go and I say, I don't know any of the undercard, and then I leave saying, I know all the undercard and they're all amazing. So,
well, it's a big educational event in some ways. This happens every year. Like there's like a third of the lineup that some of us don't know, but by the time we get there, right, some of them are our favorite bands now. You get so excited to see them for the first time. So fun.
I'm super excited. Milky Chance is there kind of hiding at the bottom of Sunday. And I saw Milky Chance for the first time at Bonnaroo a couple of years ago, and it was on a Sunday, and it was an absolutely amazing set, like that Sunday afternoon right before there was like the third one before the headliner or something like that. And it was just this big, awesome dance party. So I'm excited to see Milky Chance there and on a Sunday again.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Carrie. All right. I think we are going to interrupt her knitting to get Brooklyn's impressions next. Now, Brooklyn, you and I talked about this at lunch today, but I want to hear your impressions overall and some of your top picks.
Okay. I woke up and Bonnaroo had texted me the lineup, and when I first looked at it, honestly, I was very, very underwhelmed. I'm gonna like ride with Carrie, saying that the undercard, or not the undercard, but the headliner is super weak in my opinion. But that's just because I'm not super 100% familiar with Pretty Lights. From what I've heard, they're wonderful, but it's not Rufus Du Sol. Yeah, but that's fine. There are a lot of the undercards that like I saw later, and I've already discovered a few that I enjoy already just listening today. Like Geese is lit. We already knew who It's Murph was. You've
You-
seen
you-
my little. Yeah, I used a song from It's Mirth in my Bonnaroo recap video on Instagram from last year. They're really good. Gregory Alan Isikoff is probably my top, like my number one, can't miss. Love him. TV Girls, pretty good. Whew. I discovered John Batiste, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I didn't know who that was before today.
He is
I mean, I've
wonderful.
heard of him. I just haven't listened to him. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name.
No, I think that's right.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Brooke?
There was one more. Oh, Casablanca. They snuck that on there. See, I can't even find it anymore. I don't even remember what day it's on.
You got me to listen to it. It's very similar to Rufus, I feel like.
Yeah, Casablanca it's there on Saturday, like the second row from the bottom. They're so good. They're very similar to Rufus, I would say. The closest on this lineup to Rufus, I would say.
We have to clarify, not Rufus the mascot, Rufus Du Sol the band.
You didn't know Rufus was in.
He's
Rufus
playing. Rufus is DJing. Oh my God. Would not shock me. All right. So Sharla, me and you will have talked elsewhere on the episode, but do you have any quick impressions you want to share?
Oh, well, I do have to agree with Brooklyn and Carrie about the headliners for sure. And it's not that they're not good, in my opinion. It's not that they're not good. It's just that it's underwhelming considering that you see all these other festivals getting these like wow type of headliners. So to see, especially Post Malone and Red Hot Chili Peppers, I mean, I grew up listening to the Chili Peppers. I mean, that was one of the bands of, the Y2K era that I grew up in. So, I mean, I'll go see Chili Peppers and, but they've been at Bonnaroo before in my time, and Post has been at Bonnaroo, in my time, and I've seen him at several other festivals. So it's just kind of like,
been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. But the undercard, in my opinion, is very stacked. I mean, I've seen several names on there that I instantly recognized. So I'm very, very, very happy with the undercard. And honestly, I can truly say this is one of the first years in all the years I've been going to Bonnaroo that I truly can say I recognize a lot of the names on the undercard because usually I see the list and I'm like, man, I don't know half these names. I feel so outdated. Da, 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 da. No, I knew a lot of the names on the undercard. So, I'm very happy with it. I'm very, very happy with a lot of the names on there. Jason Isbell's on there, which I was very, very happy with. Melanie Martinez, just a lot of names on there. John Batiste. So many good artists on there. Ash Nico, I hope everybody.
Oh yeah.
There. Inflatable.
Oh yeah, Nico.
Crazy.
Imdu Mokhtar, happy to see them back on.
Thank you. Yes,
we didn't get to see them in 2021 or whatever it was. So just so many good names on that undercard, and I'm truly happy with it.
Thank you, Charlotte. All right, next up, I want to call out somebody that I brought on kind of last minute because I knew they would have a lot to say about one of our headliners. Zach, take the mic, man. I know you're going to have the time of your life this coming year.
I'm really excited. Obviously, Daniel's talking about Pretty Lights. I'm a big fan of Pretty Lights, so I'm a little biased with the headliners. I got what I was hoping for, which is Pretty Lights on the Farm. Very exciting. Both that and the Sunrise set, I think, is really cool that they're showing them that respect. I mean, when I went back to the tour this year, which was the first tour in half a decade, as a fan, you kind of wonder, you're like, I know that I love this, you know what I mean? But are, other people going to be as into it as they were before? Because they used to be one of the biggest acts in the world. And to see Bonnaroo give them this kind of respect is really exciting for me as a fan. So going into it, that's really exciting. I think it's going to be a great show. I think everyone's going to, not everyone, but a lot of people are going to like it. I've seen them do a lot of really cool things, and I'm just hoping they give them 4 hours for each set because they can fill it, and they could do a whole third set, I mean, but I hear what everyone's saying with the headliners. I kind of feel it too, even though I haven't seen them. But also, like, when I look at it, it really is like a cool kind of, I feel like it's a Bonnaroo vibe. Like, I feel like it's a party. Like, the whole thing's a party. I feel like they went for party vibes, and I totally get where you guys are coming from, especially if you just saw Post Malone and the Red Hot Chili Peppers there the last couple of years. I can see, like, going back into that being like, I've seen that. But I also think we're all going to have the most incredible time. And by the time it all happens, you're going to be happy that it's Post Malone, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Fred again. So I think it's going to be both. Like, I hear what you guys are saying. I feel it too. But undercard, I really think, like, there's so much on this undercard that represents, like, what Bonnaroo is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited to see Gwar. Like, I've never seen him, but when you see that and Bonnaroo and the magic that is Bonnaroo, it's like, yeah, duh. Like, that's where I'd want to see them. For me, like, I'm excited about the Dashboard Confessional emo sing-along hiding up in the top left corner that I didn't even see until someone pointed out. I'm excited about Taking Back Sunday. I mean, there's a lot on here. Meg the Stallion, which is going to be sick. Like, I mean, I think we saw Meg the Stallion at Okeechobee, and she was unbelievable. And I didn't even know that my butt moved like that until I went to see Meg the Stallion. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, I mean, there's a lot on here. I don't want to say everybody's thunder. So I'm just going to say really excited to see Krogman too. They are another one of those acts that I feel like really embody, like, the vibe of Bonnaroo, which is, like, just magic. They're gonna own that time and that space, and it's gonna be great to see them on the farm. So that's what I got. Don't miss Pretty Lights. I think it's gonna be great, both sets.
Zach, quick follow-up question, since you were probably more familiar than literally anybody. They're saying that apparently this performance on Thursday on the main stage is going to be something special. Like, what in the world could that be, if you had to guess?
Well, I mean, there's a few, like, they've been talking about a new album, and even someone teased possible albums. So I saw someone in the Facebook group mention maybe they're going to play a whole album. I mean, I'm just speculating here, right? Last time we were in Tennessee, they did a drone show 2 nights, and it was incredible. And I mean, hey, we're going back to Tennessee. Derek said a lot of really great things about how he feels about Tennessee when we were down there at the Caverns a couple months ago. So I'm expecting them I mean, even Greg the Laser Shark, his lights production guy, came out and said that he's been going to Bonnaroo for 20 years, and he doesn't even want to admit how many times he's been, and he's excited for them to be a headliner, and that nobody's ready. So, I mean, how can I predict? They always come up with stuff, like, crazy, just new, innovative stuff. So I don't even think whatever I'm guessing is going to be the whole thing, because they're going to bring something to the table that's just going to be, next level, because that's what they do. I'm a little biased, obviously. I'm sorry. I'm a super fan. So
no, dude, I get it. No, this was me before Tame Impala show, man. I totally understand.
I remember.
If they booked Dead Mouse this year, you would hear me proselytizing for the next hour about that. So I get it.
All right. Since he was at that Pretty Light show as well, let's go to Kevin next. Kevin, I was at night 1 with you guys on that. But first of all, tell us what you saw on night 2 and 3 that we might expect, and then tell us what you think about the lineup this year.
So Pretty Lights. So a lot of people don't realize, number one, that Pretty Lights played Bonnaroo last in 2018?
13?
Yeah, I was later than that. 17, 16 maybe. I can't remember.
We'll fact check that, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those years. It was like 15, 16, 17, one of those years, but I think a lot of people skipped over Pretty Lights if they've been going to Bonnaroo, maybe didn't get hooked onto him. And I think also, and Zach can attest to this, Pretty Lights has been through quite a journey in their time as a band. They went through a couple of iterations. And this one that we've seen is in another atmosphere. You will be, no matter what your musical genre is. We had a friend of ours, Lindsay, from the other farm, who joined us, and he didn't really know Pretty Lights, had heard, just from us, but at the end of that show was just, ear to ear grinning with just how good the show was, because it's a real, he kind of takes you on a real cool journey, and every set's kind of different, and no matter what your genre taste is, you can find something, because he does a lot of mixes, he covers, he samples. I mean, you can't go wrong, and it's a party from start to finish, and it's a journey. So if you're not on the Pretty Lights train, get on board, because that thing's heavy. And we all said it. I mean, I know me and Zach said it together. I said, if Bonnaroo does not book Pretty Lights, they're stupid. Because seriously, because that is right now, when you talk about Grizz going out of the space, and you're looking for, kind of, not that Pretty Lights and Grizz, Pretty Lights is a replacement for Grizz, but when you're looking for kind of that main, one of those big artists to kind of cover the space, I think Pretty Lights has that reputation of being able to cover that space really well and bring in, the attendance.
They've got that same, it's not the same music, but it's the same vibe of just like awesome, jammy, fun. Everyone likes it. Like,
everybody likes it. Yeah. You can't go wrong. If you're just there, you're walking by, you're going to dance, you're going to, whatever's going on at the time, you're going to move to it. So if you're not on the Pretty Lights train, get on it. I'll stop there on Pretty Lights, because I too am a fan. Here, my first reaction to the lineup was the old Robin Williams. What year is it? I feel like Bonnaroo jumped into a time machine and went back, and they went back to their roots in a lot of ways. For all of us that have been consistently over the years, what's been the biggest complaint the last 2, maybe 3 lineups? Super EDM heavy, right? Now take out Fred again and Diplo and some. There's enough EDM on it, and good EDM. Sudden Death, Diplo, obviously. I mean, you got White Fang, who's Alice in Wonderland, for everybody that knows Alice in Wonderland. White Fang's her other project, which is a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a little darker, experimental based more. It's cool. It's a real cool thing, and it's a different persona. It's not just Allison up there. It's a whole different persona, which is really cool. But I feel like they took it back in a lot of ways too. There's a lot of indie on there, which Bonnaroo always has a good ear on the pulse when it comes to up and coming indie music. Just some first impressions about the headliners. When I first saw the headliners, I said, meh. I said the same thing, but I'm going to say this as a grizzled old veteran, for anybody that's looking at this as, veteran or newbie. When you say, oh, like Carrie said, they were just there a few years ago. Post Malone is on a different planet now, if you're a Post Malone fan, because Post Malone, we got Post Malone last time, was still in kind of that early, he was still coming off of, that real big 21 Savage song, Rockstar. That was really it. He was also a different person. He's cleaned up a lot. He's gotten sober. His music right now, what he's doing is a different level. I remember that show. I was a big Post Malone fan going into that show. It started out good, and then it just kind of went off because he started singing a cappella, and he was kind of losing his voice and probably a little intoxicated, and it just kind of got like nails on the chalkboard. Red Hot Chili Peppers, same thing. When we saw them last time, we didn't see the original band. John is back with the band now. The lead guitarist, he's back with the band. We saw him this summer in Atlanta. So if you're a Chili Peppers fan, you're going to see the original iteration of the Chili Peppers this year versus when they were there last time. We didn't get the original. But biggest kind of takeaways of kind of the top. I mean, it's really hard for me to pick a top, but I will say 7 Lines is a must. That's another show. Like if you want like a pure bliss happiness, if you like Millennium, 7 Lines will kind of be your jam. Obviously T-Pain. If you weren't there last time when T-Pain in 2018 absolutely stole the show in a tent, like you should have saw this crowd. And then I proposed to my wife right after that set. I wasn't a part of the set, but I was there, and I got to watch the set and the craziness and how that crowd, if anything else, that crowd probably will be the funnest crowd out of the entire weekend. Just if you're looking, I don't think they'll probably put him back at like a 5 o'clock set, but that's going to be a cool one. Sean Paul is on there. I mean, for all of us that are older, Sean Paul, what's up? There's a lot on here that I think that as everybody's mentioned, that the undercard is really deep and diverse. Josiah in the Bonnevilles. Oh my gosh, Tennessee Boy. Oh my God, amazing music. 49 Winchester. I mean, there's a lot of really good music on there. So if you don't know it, dive in because there's a lot there, especially in the undercard. That's really all I got to say about that.
Thanks, Forrest. But no, seriously, thanks, Kevin. Very, very good points with that. Man, I feel like we got a good panel tonight. All right, last but not least, this guy's turned into one of my best friends the past couple of years, and he has an encyclopedic knowledge about some of these things sometimes. Andrew, take it away, man. What do you think?
Yeah, since Tame was not, gotta give it a 0 out of 10. No. I'm kidding. No, I think the headliners, I do understand why people are underwhelmed by them. I mean, even if you just compare them to last year, which I know comparing lineups can get a little hectic sometimes, not exactly representative of a good lineup. But yeah, I mean, Toast is a little safe, even though he has changed it up in the past 4 years. I do think Red Hot Chili Peppers is a good booking, kind of regardless, though. It's still been a while since they were at Rue, and I mean, they're not the most exciting in the world, but I do think they're a good, solid band. I'll enjoy the set, and they absolutely deserve to be on here.
Can we just ask why they're not on Sunday though? Is that are you with me there, Andrew?
Right.
Why are they not on Sunday?
So I've been told that Red Hot Chili Peppers was not able to be scheduled on Sunday, which is why Fred Again's closing up.
I was gonna say it's probably a scheduling issue, but yeah, I agree. Red Hot Chili Peppers on Sunday I would prefer.
Yeah, so that's what I claimed on the Reddit, and then Festival came after me and pretty much confirmed that. So yeah, but I am honestly probably most excited for Fred again, even though he is the biggest question mark here. And I don't think he would be a headliner if it weren't for the whole Coachella thing last year. But I am excited to see him. I've been listening to Baby again on repeat like this past week. So I think that I'm most excited for him, but I understand why people might not be as hyped for him. However, the mid card on this lineup and the undercard on this lineup are probably the best in 3 or 4 years. And I think that if you just kind of look at some of the names towards the bottom, it's like Yves Tumor is like all the way down, like 4th line Sunday, which Sunday always has fewer names. So it's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, excited to see Pretty Lights, excited to see Red Hot to some degree, and then excited to see Fred again. And then there's some other names on here. I need to do a little bit more research before I kind of like go through the whole lineup. But let's see. In general, Krungbid's probably my number one, especially if they're like a late night. Thundercat, I do want to see. Madhu Mokhtar, I saw open for Thames several years ago, so got to see them, especially for leaving that 21 lineup. Parcel's good. Bad Bad's not good. Bad not good is good. Neil Francis, I saw at the Underground in Atlanta. It's pretty good. And then
wait, can we pause and recognize that there are 2 Neil Francis?
Which one did you say?
And 2.
I was gonna say Neil Francis or Neil Francis.
Yeah, so Neil Francis with an I is the one I know well. I don't know the one with an A very well. But yeah, the one on Saturday. And then I think I mentioned these 2 more, and Milky Chance. And then there's a lot I'm like tangentially interested in, like Group Love and like the Stallion. I'm gonna check out Interpol at Shaky Knees now. Probably decide whether I see him at Bonnaroo. There's just a lot of names on this lineup that I would not have thought they would have been able to squeeze into a lineup. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good lineup. I'd say like if you took last year's headliners and 22's undercard, then that would probably make a better lineup. But I still think it's the best since 21. So
thank you.
Can I just say real quick too, just for any new Bonnaroo, if this is your first year going, or if maybe even your second year, I'm going to give a shameless plug to the What podcast. I urge you to go on and listen to the conversations that they had with like C3, and when they were talking about some of the booking and stuff like that. What gives me the absolute kind of excitement more than anything is knowing how much Bonnaroo really. No person on this lineup is just a throw in. As we heard in those episodes, like the booking team for C3 and stuff, like they really think this lineup through. So I don't think that there's any reason to say, oh, this is not a good lineup. I don't know if I'm going to go. I think for a lot of the unknown, just if you go back and listen to those episodes, I think it'll give you especially if Bonnaroo is new for you. I know a lot of us, I mean, we go for the experiences and we go for more than just a lineup some years, and we can tear this lineup apart like we do with a lot of them. But I think if you go back and listen to how they book things, it really gives you an insight, especially with some of these questions. Because I was like, Fred again, like, I don't get it. And like Andrew said, like, Post maybe playing a little safe, but there's a method to the madness. You know that there's got to be a method to the madness. And I think Zach said it too. It's going to be a party. I mean, if you're looking for the vibe, that's what it kind of looks like they booked that way. So I'm happy with it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I heard it was a hard year, especially for headliner bookings. So it kind of makes sense that the mid card is so heavy and that the headliners are maybe not the biggest wow factor in the world. But I mean, Red Hot and Post are both going to sell a lot of tickets, and there's a reason they're on there.
And none of us mentioned Fisher. If you don't know Fisher, it's an Australian DJ. He's awesome. Like, he deserves. Like, I'm curious of how they're going to do the dual headliners on Thursday. So that'll be interesting. But Fisher deserves. I mean, well deserved for Fisher. I just got into him recently. I just got to know him probably within the last year. And wow, like, if you don't know Fisher, that's going to be a fun show too.
Kevin, I would bet that since we're going to have Pretty Lights on the what stage, they'll put Fisher on the which stage.
Or on the other. I would think that they would probably make time on the other, yeah. Like a late other show.
I can see either one though. It kind of depends, like, I don't know, because they usually have someone on which that's what I consider the Thursday, the quote unquote Thursday headliner. I could see, I don't know, because I mean it's being Witch.
But they've never put anybody on Witch on Thursday, right? It's always.
Well, if they're open,
I could also be nuts.
Yeah. I guess we shall see. We have 2, 3, 4 months until the schedule comes out? I can't recall immediately. But that'd be an interesting puzzle for them to work out. Real quick, I think you guys pretty much covered everything, but I'll just say what I want to say by just looking at the Friday schedule. It is going to drive me crazy in all the most fun ways. Because just in that day, for me, I have Krungbin, Joe Russo's Almost Dead, Interpol, T-Pain, TV Girl, Gary Clark, The Mars Volta, Thundercat, Group Love. It just keeps going. And finally, I get to see Mdu Mokhtar. I've been dying to see them for years. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And it's going to be
that scheduling conflict is going to be interesting.
Tough decisions. And that's just the one day. That's probably the biggest day for me. Another thing I'll talk about real quick that we didn't touch on a lot is Fred again. I know some people are like, oh, who's that? Or is he that big? He's gonna be. I think he is going to be the most important single EDM artist in the world. He already is in the UK and most of Europe. I don't think that he has really hit the US in a big way just yet, but he's about to. And this is going to be a North American exclusive. And I'm going to use what platform I may have to please advocate that Bonnaroo give him an in the round stage like him and Skrillex and Fortet had at Coachella last year. If they are able to make that logistically happen, it will be the biggest party ever on the what field. They've got to figure out a way to make that happen. That's kind of his trademark. The biggest set that he is known for to this point is that Boiler Room, and that's how that was set up. Let's make the Boiler Room happen on a big scale in the what field. I want that so bad, man. And also, man, I'm excited.
I love your dream.
What's that, Zach?
I love your dream. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I love it.
But yeah, that Pretty Light show on Thursday is going to be something special. You guys already covered it, but I will say this. I went to that first show at the Caverns with you guys a couple months ago. That show has lived rent-free in my head ever since. It's all I can think about. I cannot wait to see that on a ruse scale, man. It's going to be so fun. I had the time of my life at the Caverns. I can't imagine what it's going to be like on the farm. I can't wait, dude.
And here's the thing too. Like, you cannot prepare for a Pretty Light show, period. Because if you go, oh, what track's he going to play, or oh, what sequence of tracks he's going to play. You don't realize that they're up there riffing for like 45 minutes. Like they're up there going to town.
I don't know how to explain that. It feels like the next evolution of the EDM. It's like if you mix something with like EDM from the past 10 years with what Grateful Dead did back in the 70s, man.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean,
that sounds crazy.
If you think about a jam band like Fish or Fish or Grateful Dead, and you translate that over to an EDM spectrum, that's Pretty Lights. I mean, it's I know we're on the Pretty Lights train, and I like being on the Pretty Lights train because it is going to be, if everybody was excited for Odessa last year, you're going to be excited for Pretty Lights this year.
Like, it's going to blow Odessa out of the water.
It's going to be absolutely insane. Like, it's going to be, and we haven't even talked about the Sunrise set yet. That's going to be crazy. It's Fred again and Fortet. That they're going to do a late night set on the other or something. When we don't know what the other set, the late night sets are going to be surprise sets, but when you think about Fortet and Fred again, and because him
inevitable, doesn't it?
And Skrillex, I mean, you almost wonder, is Skrillex going to show up and they're going to do a set together? You don't know, but that's Bonnaroo. You do, and Skrillex is he was big at Bonnaroo when he was there. I wish that they would have signed in the beginning.
Well, and I'll say too, as far as like the undercard goes, like that's the one thing. Like I feel like every time I look at Bonnaroo lineup, it looks okay, and then I get there and it's amazing. It's like I want to like kind of underscore. I mentioned that a little bit. It's always Bonnaroo always knows who is going to be huge right before they get huge, and so yeah, Fred again. I haven't heard of Fred again, but damn it, they wouldn't have put him as a headliner on Sunday if it wasn't going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna trust in Bonnaroo. It's going to be awesome.
Also, honorable mention Brittany Howard.
Oh yeah. I'm shocked nobody mentioned her.
I know. I was like, there's so many, but I was like, we got to say Brittany because she
Limestone County, baby. Yeah.
I love Alabama Shakes. My first year in 2015. That was a great show, and that's where I fell in love with them. And I know, Brad's going to be a very happy person if he's going to come this year.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know Kevin kind of touched on this, and I know this is a podcast about the lineup, but I think the truth is Bonner's hot. It's a big place. You got this lineup. You're looking at it. If you go, you're going to have the best fucking time of your life. You know it. I mean, some people might be on the fence. This might change it, but you're going for your friends. You're going for the fun. You're going because it's fucking Bonnaroo. I'm so excited about this, and I'm excited to see you guys.
Amen, bro. Oh, man. Well, Zach, I think that's a good note to start to sign off on. We got a little long. Guys, thank you so much for helping me out with this. I love doing this every year to go through a more in-depth look at it after we've had a couple of hours to let it settle in. And kind of like Zach said, I say this every year. It's the biggest and best party on the planet. And this is just the soundtrack to the party, guys. I can't wait to hang with you guys at like the Monkey Bar, the Beer Exchange, whatever the hell we get into. It's always a big family reunion. I joke around with everybody like, hey, when you sign it up for that off time, just say it's for a family reunion. It's not a lie. But thanks so much, guys. We love you to death. We appreciate you. You can't see it, but Zach's throwing up the heart hands. I guess everybody is now. Yeah. See you guys there in June.
Bye.
Bonnaroo. Hey, Bonnaroovians. My name's Delaney. I've been going to Bonnaroo since 2019, and I figured I'd tell you guys a story about my first Bonnaroo. So it was the Friday night, and I think Childish Gambino was playing that night. We had some friends with a tall purple flag totem that I thought I could see from a mile away because it was so high. So we were all the way back, like by the way back water fountain of the main stage, the what stage, and I thought I saw that flag. So I took me and my 4 other friends who also hadn't been to Bonner yet, and we walked all the way to the front left side of the stage. And probably about halfway to getting to the flag, maybe 3/4 of the way, I realized that was not the flag that we were supposed to go to. But, I didn't want to admit that to my friends, so I just committed to it.
And I kept walking, I kept pushing, and then we found like an open space that all 5 of us could fit into. So we ended up staying there, and we were right next to where Childish Gambino got lifted up on that lift and the spotlight put on him. And he literally took us to church that day. And because of my little mistake thinking we saw our friends' flags, we had like the most life-changing Childish Gambino set of my life. So, and you know, that set me up for going to Bonnaroo every year for the rest of my life. Not just that moment, but that entire Bonnaroo was phenomenal.
Wow. Thank you guys for joining us. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I love doing those more in-depth things later in the evening after lineup release, after we've had time for our brain to soak it in. You mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Brooklyn, that you felt differently about it, you know, as the day wore on, right?
Yes.
Me too. I was over having lunch with you today, and like you brought up some stuff that I didn't realize that I liked. That's how this lineup tends to work, man.
I think a lot of it has to do with when I wake up in the morning, I'm always cranky. So
Can confirm.
waking up and not seeing Rufus Du Sol in that lineup kind of like just made me cry and upset. I mean, not really, but you know, like I'm an adult. We'll get over it. But yeah, now like looking at it, like I said earlier, Casablanca, that's basically diet Rufus Du Sol, so that makes me happy.
We have Rufus Du Sol at home.
Yeah.
Well, I got some thoughts too, but ladies need to go first. Sharla, do you have any last thoughts on this lineup?
I mean, no, I think we've already covered it. I just really like it a lot. I really truly like it because I recognize the names on it, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you mentioned that in our panel just now, and I was like, wow, we really have become one with Bonnaroo now.
Right.
Like you're saying that kind of stuff, yeah.
And I don't think it's that I've become one or my music knowledge has expanded. I think that proves that they are booking like more popular acts, more like known acts. That proves that the lineup is the undercard. It really is better. It really is getting better.
I had mentioned to a number of people that I suspected that Rue would be booking a lot of like Rue's greatest hits for this undercard because we kind of knew all along what the headliners were going to be. There's some names that I had hoped that we would get that aren't there, but there's still a good handful that are kind of those greatest hits. You know? Group Love is a good example. I had a heck of a time at their show years ago. I can't wait to see them live. They're like a fun house of a band, man. They're a great example of something like that. And I feel like a lot of people overlook them. I love that band. And that's just one of many, many examples. I mentioned this already to our panel, but like I really think that Fred again is going to surprise a lot of people. I think Kevin was on the nose that Post Malone is really going to wow people even more so than last time. We've got the full lineup of the Chili Peppers. This Pretty Light show is, I'm telling y'all, about to blow some minds. You ain't ready for this, man. It's going to be wild. But yeah, kind of as Rufus mentioned in the clip earlier, this is going to be one for the books. And we haven't even scratched the surface on the community aspects of this either. That's going to be a whole other thing that we're going to talk about. Brooklyn, I know you can speak from experience. It seems like more than half of the experience at Rue these days is in the campgrounds, right?
100%.
Yeah. Charlotte, do you want to give any of our newbies some hints as to what they can look forward to in the camps, like specifically maybe at the group camp or House of Yes or whatever it may be?
It's just always a party out there.
Yes.
That's where it's at.
It's the greatest party on the planet. And I'm not joking when I say that. I genuinely mean this. I'm not exaggerating. Bonnaroo is the greatest party on the planet. I can't wait to see all of you back there. It is going to be the grandest time. Man, again, thank you everybody for bearing with us through this really double-sized episode. We love you so much. We can't wait to see you on the farm in June. It is the greatest party. I don't know what else I can say about that.
It becomes addictive after your first year.
Truly,
Yeah,
truly.
you can't not go. It's just part of your routine to go to the farm in June. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to sign off this week with something that I do on every lineup episode. There was a wonderful video produced about 10 years ago called the Bonnaroo Experience, and we just want to play a little bit of the audio for you as we sign off. You'll understand why. So, until next week, get out there and radiate positivity. Love you. See you soon.
Bye.
2011, like I lost everything. I lost my career. I lost a lot of my friends and the love of my life. She left. You know, I was just trying to find my way in the world. My brother came out. He'd planned Bonnaroo. I never heard of it before. And, I lucked out that he found it. I carried so much energy away from this place, you know?
A lot of people say that you create your own reality. I've always felt that's half right. Honestly, we're a collective. We don't really amount to much without the community as individuals by ourselves. So these festivals are an experiment in temporary community.
You can find people that you're like weirdly connected to that live thousands of miles away from you.
Sometimes 50 of us, and we always come down every year.
Made the trip down here from Philadelphia.
We drove 1,000 miles.
We'll talk to these people for like 10 minutes, then it's like you've just been best friends.
You just become family with everyone.
I think people really want to interact at a higher level than they do in their daily life and in our society where we've gotten upside down, you know, where people are uptight. You know, it's pretty safe here.
Unless you've been here, the energy isn't really something that you can describe. It's something that you kind of can just feel.
It spreads through everyone, and you get euphoric just seeing people, and you're just like walking by high-fiving strangers.
We're all coming together with this intention to enjoy ourselves.
Just kind of walking around and the sun is setting and you're like, this is what life should be.
So many incredible, talented, creative people. You can't stop the magic.
Just like high five.
Pretty incredible.
Run me around.
That sort of set me over the edge.
Not expected.
There's no way to describe.
Positive vibes.
Just like a crazy experience.
There is an element that is beyond the sum total of each individual piece. And we are saying, yes, the magic is real and we can show you.